nutrients and oxygen to your cell. Number 2, flushing bacteria from your bladder. Number 3, aiding digestion. Number 4, preventing constipation. Number 5, normalizing blood pressure. Number 6, stabilizing the heartbeat. Number 7, cushioning joints. Number 8, regulating body temperature. Number 9, protecting organs and tissue. So number 10, maintaining electrolytes, which is sodium balance. Now, these are the benefits of. Can you imagine how much water truly keeps us alive? This is why people must stay hydrated at all times. But what happens when our body and organs receive unclean water for daily functioning? What is the negative impact on our health from drinking impure water? It must be obvious, not drinking clean water will cause us harm. But do we exactly know what kind of harm? Do we understand the extent to which drinking unclean water can do for us in a long time? A lot of tourists coming to Nigeria have difficulty eating our food and drinking our water because they are not used to it. They don't have the iron stomach we have developed, and it affects them quickly. But does this mean it does not affect us at all?
Get no sleep. I'm in too deep.
Welcome back from the break. You see, waterborne diseases are quite common in our dear country, Nigeria. Contaminated water and poor sanitation are linked to transmission of diseases such as cholera, diarrhea, dysentery, hepatitis A, typhoid, and polio. From the list, at least one of you listening today have either experienced this or know someone who has fallen ill with one or more of these illnesses named above. Absent, inadequate, or inappropriately managed water sanitation services expose individuals to preventable health risks. Inadequate management of urban, industrial, and agricultural wastewater means that drinking water of hundreds of millions of people is dangerously contaminated or chemically polluted. We will talk more about agricultural impact in our next discussion. There are communities around the world with glaring proof that even though one is born and raised in that community, the negative environmental issue eventually affect them too. Sometimes it takes months, other times it takes years. This constantly ingested chemical accumulates in our bodies over time and may slowly affect our health. One must remember that the environment itself is constantly changing, sometimes for the better, sometimes changing for the worse. Across the world, not just Africa, there are many countries suffering due to lack of clean water, even in developed nations. For example, there's a documentary called There is Something in the Water, about 4 areas in Canadian province and how they were differently affected due to the manipulation of water bodies. Canada is considered to be a developed country with green initiatives in North America. To give you a glimpse of the documentary of one of these 4 areas was a well-known community of freed slaves that settled there decades ago. The government made a nearby land of dumping ground for waste and garbage. Anything and everything that needs to be thrown out was dumped on that land, including household trash, hospital garbage, military waste, dead animals, anything you could think of. Interesting question. Why was this community highlighted for a waste documentary? Is this not land pollution? In fact, the toxins from the mountain like dump leaked into the soil and got into the water table in that region. This dangerous element got into their drinking wells and boreholes. Suddenly, so many of their residents fell ill with deadly cancer. In fact, many of the residents of this town died of cancer. Whole families and lineages wiped out, and the founding cause was their water source. People can honestly say that they knew dirty water could cause cancer or organ failure. For example, it makes sense that it affects our digestive system and gives diarrhea. Yes, but now we know that every single cell in our body needs water to function, and cancer cells don't discriminate. They can grow wherever they please. Before we end our discussion for today, we are going to switch gears into our mission at Eco-Friendly. Eco-Friendly wishes to raise awareness on how our own individual action affects us as individuals and collectively as a society. We wish to explore everything we have been taught on the way to do things in our society and critique our practice or our practices and the practices of our forefathers. This is not about science, this is about the healthy way of doing things for ourselves and for our children, extended family, neighbors, and nation at large. Eco-Friendly will guide you through how little changes can make a big difference. These changes do not have to be drastic and they do not have to be expensive, but they are life-changing for the better. If you do not take care of yourself, we will. Thank you for listening and joining us today. Please follow us on all our social media handles and contribute to the discussion. Tell us if you learned something new, if you found anything so surprising, and what more would you like us to explore?
Go out.